I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army Strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@KLRNradio.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View.
All right, how y'all doing out there tonight? Yes, it's Jessie. What a day. What a week. We had Kim Jong-nam assassinated. Who's Kim Jong-nam? He was the older brother of Kim Jong-un. And he'd more or less been exiled from the country because he didn't wholeheartedly agree with how his brother was running the country. Sorry, folks, I'm getting a drink. What can I say? I've got Operation Inherent Resolve, or OIR, updates for you. Hey, I'd do my darndest to get those, you know. What else do I have? Oh, that not enough? Well, I've got something pretty interesting. I didn't know about something. Not that I ever claim I know everything. Never would do that. But I do know a thing or two about a thing or two. So what got my attention today was Ashton Kutcher. Now why would I be chasing audio from Ashton Kutcher? Well, to the point, short and simple to the point, he testified at the Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing today. And that's something I'm usually tracking. So I always look for stuff like that. I'm always looking around for it, trying to get the best clips I can to bring to you. So the Senate Foreign Relations Committee is an area of interest to me. But I didn't know it was an area of interest to Ashton Kutcher. And then, like I said, right there's 3 pretty big stories. Then there's all the usual nonsense that happened today. So we are going to get on with some of it. And of course, Donald Trump is hosting Bibi Netanyahu, or Benjamin Netanyahu. So this is going to be an interesting day, folks. Very interesting. Now, as it's Wednesday, for those of you listening live, I am going to cut my show short by just a couple minutes because I produce the show that's on right behind me, Constitution and Culture. So I always need that few extra minutes to get everything sorted out. Now, last night was Valentine's Day, and everybody was hit with the case of the love bugs. They were kidnapped by spouses. It was just a night where the whole evening crew on the station said, "We are taking the night off." So, just as a reminder, station manager Ann took over putting up content last night. She pulled a fast one. There was a show, and I can't tell you which one. But if you can figure out what show aired last night in place of the Jen and Rick show, and you should go over to that contact form and mention it, I think you're getting a mug. Or you'll at least be entered to win. And the military is talking about putting boots on the ground in Syria. Yep. Boots on the ground in Syria. All right. I think that's a pretty good overview of what we got. So, yep, there's the show prep. Both hands, I can get back to it. What can I say? I kind of miss not doing it. So, before I get on to the big stories, I got some smaller ones from yesterday that I didn't get to that I wanted to bring to your attention. Oh, and gotta love Nancy Pelosi quoting a fake tweet on national television. Or at least at a press conference where it can be picked up on national TV. Oh yeah, it's real interesting, folks. Real interesting. So, like I said, there's a lot going on in this world. And as always, I do my darndest to connect the dots for you. But we're not the only country that has a lot of political upheaval. Now, you know I don't cover most of the U.S. politics. Not my gig. I leave that to people like Rick on America Off the Rails, Jen and Rick's show, Constitution and Culture. Yeah. Rick and Robinson and Wright on Fridays. Stafford covers a fair bit. I leave that to them. But what about Romania? Yes, I said Romania and Romanian politics. Yep. There's evidently a political awakening in the young folk in Romania. There was a cartoon that came out that depicts a clutch of young demonstrators bundled up, warm, their eyes fixed on their smartphones as they scroll through an endless stream of social media. The accompanying text reads, "We all suffer these days from fear of missing out." The demonstrators in Romania are young, middle class, and they organize online. And they are, for the most part, anti-corruption protesters. And they are challenging a government decree that would have dramatically weakened attempts to crack down on quote-unquote graft. Now, graft is our version of bribe, I believe. I'm pulling it up just to double check. Yes, it's a form of political corruption, unscrupulous use of a politician's authority for personal gain. So, like I said, yeah, bribes, corruption, that kind of thing. Romania is urban, young, literate, tech-savvy, and outward-looking, yet normally deeply apolitical. The protests were the latest in a series of successful demonstrations that began in 2013. So this isn't just a flash-in-the-pan one-off demonstration. And there are reports of people in hospitals having to bribe employees just to do their jobs. A 40-year-old demonstrator recalled her experiences in the maternity ward of a state hospital. State-run hospital, maternity ward. If I wanted my pillows or sheets changed, I had to pay the nurses each time. I was suffering, my mouth dry. They wouldn't even bring me a glass of water unless I paid them a bribe. The country has made significant strides in tackling corruption over the last 5 years, with the National Anti-Corruption Directorate prosecuting a slew of corrupt politicians and businessmen. It scores fairly high in the Transparency International's rankings of government integrity, tied with Hungary and Jordan for 57th place out of 176. The protests of the last 2 weeks have triggered a backlash, with several thousand government supporters gathering in Bucharest. There is little doubt that as vast anti-corruption street movement is growing, the government maintains substantial support. So, there's like I said, our country isn't the only one with political chaos. And that was a story hitting the recycle bin. While U.S. intelligence agencies investigate claims that Russia secretly hacked emails to help tip last year's elections, Europe's far right enjoys backing from Putin. In just the past few weeks, Russian state media have been using innuendo and rumor to openly demonize French president candidate Emmanuel Macron, whose centrist platform is now a direct threat to Kremlin favorite Marine Le Pen and her National Front Party. In December, Russia's ruling party signed a 5-year cooperation agreement with Austria's anti-immigration Freedom Party, led by Norbert Hofer. Moscow's entreaty to Austria comes only 2 years after a Russian-backed bank extended a €9 million loan to Le Pen's National Front, facing 2 competitive elections this year. Le Pen has considered going back to a Kremlin-backed bank to fill her party's $21 million shortfall. Do you think they're meddling in our elections? They're openly funding others. Hey, I bring these stories to you because, guess what? I want you to realize we're not the only country with problems. And of course, the usual suspects had the usual things to say about North Korea's ballistic missile launch that is still going on. France is pushing ahead with an Iranian plant investment and production ramp up in the face of a hardened U.S. stance against Tehran. And this is Peugeot. Peugeot returned to Iran last year after an international deal to lift sanctions in return for curbs on Tehran's nuclear activities, and has reclaimed its place as the country's top-selling car brand, with 32% of the market share last year. The carmaker inked a €400 million or $424 million deal Peugeot production agreement last June, and a $300 million deal for Citroën 4 months later. The renewed pressure from Washington will probably extend PSA's lead as rivals hold back from re-entering Iran. This is our opportunity to accelerate. I got something just a little off with my mic, and I'll sort it out. German brands may be treading carefully because, unlike French rivals, Volkswagen, Daimler, and BMW have extensive U.S. sales and production. Daimler and VW Scania have unveiled Iranian deals in trucks and buses, but have been slower to commit to new car production investments. I told you, once those sanctions are lifted and people get back into Iran, they're not coming back out, folks. They are not. All right, Secretary of Defense James Mattis met today with his counterparts at NATO headquarters in Brussels to discuss efforts to defeat Daesh. Secretary of Defense Mattis met with Jens Stoltenberg in a closed meeting. Mattis underscored the importance of the NATO bloc. The alliance remains a fundamental bedrock for the United States and for all the transatlantic community, bonded as we are together. It is a fair demand, Mattis said, that all who benefit from the best defense in the world carry their proportionate share of the necessary costs to defend freedom. We should never forget, ultimately it is freedom that we defend here at NATO, he said. The Secretary of Defense said he plans to have an open conversation among friends and allies about where we're going and our shared level of commitment. So, after today's meeting, Mattis travels to Germany to attend the Munich Security Conference on Friday. And he also, while he was met with his Italian counterpart, Roberta Pianetti. Defense Secretary Mattis greeted Italian Defense Prime Minister Roberta Pianetti before the NATO meeting in Brussels. The two defense leaders met in Brussels on the sidelines of a NATO defense conference. It was basically a get-to-know-you moment. All right. We got just a couple more things I'm going to do before we roll on out of here for the commercial break. And I'm probably going to take that just a little bit late. But I've got to play this audio. Remember I mentioned Ashton Kutcher? I'm not a big movie watcher, but even I know the name. But when I saw he was testifying at the Senate Foreign Relations Committee today, I had to have this audio clip.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here. As a young man raised and brought up in the public school system, I pledge my allegiance to that flag every single day. And the honor, maybe one of the greatest honors of my life today, is to be here. And leverage the work that I've done as testimony that may in some way benefit this nation that I love.
I couldn't resist those comments. All right. And I thought that was really amazing. It turns out Ashton Kutcher is fighting against sexual slavery. And he's been working really hard at doing this. Now, I'm not going to cover a whole lot of it because it's not really my area, but I do have a couple clips I'll be sharing with you over the next couple of days. All right, folks. We are going to take that commercial break, and I will see you on the other side.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from the critique of the short story through to line edits on full-length novels. We also offer assistance on generating writers' bios for your websites. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-757-2782. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-757-2782. That's 877-757-2782.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Thank y'all for hanging in there with me over that commercial break. I do have the promised audio. Yes, I do. What can I say? I gots it for you. Don't I always? I do my darndest. Alright, let's get that audio clip playing. Here is, and this is from today's Operation Inherent Resolve update, and it's being done by Major General, let me see if I've still got the name, Major General Rupert Jones. He is a general on the, he's one of our coalition partner generals. He's British, guys. Alright, I got 4 audio clips from that. And then a couple other things I want to discuss, and we will be getting out of here. Alright, here's the Raqqa update, which is the longest.
The Syrian Democratic Forces, the SDF, with the Syrian Arab Coalition, continue to make advances to pressure and isolate Raqqa. Since they started the operations on the 5th of November, they've liberated more than 3,900 square kilometres of territory as they advance from the north, northwest and now northeast of Raqqa. Dozens of villages and tens of thousands of people have been liberated from ISIS. The bulk of the fighting has been by Arab forces, and many more are being recruited and trained as they march south. The enemy is defending robustly, but the isolation continues at a deliberate pace, and the enemy are losing fighters, leaders and resources. The coalition continues to conducting strikes in support of our partners. 16 command and control facilities and more than 30 supply and logistics nodes have been destroyed by the coalition. These sites were used by the enemy to store weapons, ammunition and supplies.
Alright, as a backup to that, I've got a little bit of a Defense Department briefing that they put out today. And it's basically strikes in Syria by the numbers. Attack, bomber, and fighter aircraft, 17 strikes, 21 engagement in Syria. Abu Kamal had 7 strikes, destroyed 7 oil, which and they destroyed 7 oil refinement stills, 5 oil storage tanks, and 3 oil wellheads near Dar Az-Zawar. 6 strikes, 5 oil pump jacks, 5 oil wellheads, 3 oil storage tanks, 2 oil refinement stills, and an oil tanker truck. Near Raqqa, 4 strikes destroyed a Daesh headquarters and damaged 2 supply routes and a bridge. Alright, let's take a listen to Al-Bab.
Meanwhile, in Al-Bab, to the west of Raqqa, Turkey and their partner forces continue to squeeze Daesh out of the city. We continue to support them with airstrikes. As they advance, they're discovering a vast tunnel network beneath the city, a tactic we've seen in other areas the enemy has controlled. Soon we expect to see the city fully liberated after weeks of heavy fighting.
Alright, so they are making progress in Al-Bab. And that's cool. Wasn't able to find anything else out about Al-Bab, but maybe I'll get more for you later in the week. Now, before I move on to Mosul and Iraq, the U.S. Department of Defense is looking at. It's still in the let's talk about it stage. But the U.S. Department of Defense is talking about putting U.S. combat forces, regular soldiers, on the ground in Syria. Yes, they're talking about it. No definite anything. It's still in the let's talk about it, think about it, and see what it would look like on paper. That's the only stage it is. It's not confirmed. It's not signed off on. It's not anything. Alright, now let's discuss Mosul.
Moving to Iraq, the Iraqi security forces continue to prepare for the liberation of West Mosul. The 16th Iraqi Army Division, supported by police and thousands of tribal forces, have moved into the east side of the city to provide security to the population and prevent the enemy from re-infiltrating or using sleeper cells. The people are extraordinarily resilient, and they're grasping the opportunity to bring some normality back to their lives in East Mosul. Markets and schools are reopening, bustle and life is returning to the streets, and even the simple pleasure of a game of football without ISIS's rule-making and oversight is being enjoyed.
Alright, so the people are trying to get their lives back together. And there's some strikes in Iraq, but there's not a whole lot mentioned. It's just kind of like, yeah, we did some strikes. I'll read you the one sentence that matters. Fighter aircraft and rocket artillery conducted 5 strikes and 21 engagements in Iraq, coordinated with and in support of Iraq's government. The rest of it's just kind of blubbity blubbity. Now, we're going to briefly discuss Kim Jong-nam. North Korea wants the body back before it can be autopsied. And they have not protested the fact that this man is dead. And he is, quote-unquote, dear leader Kim Jong-un's half-brother. Now, of course, my nickname for Kim Jong-un is the lunatic in the north. And, of course, the lunatic in the north has been acting up, as we all know, with missile launches and all kinds of defiant actions. So, who knows? In his last will and testament, before dictated just months before his death, Kim Jong-il outlined policy prescriptions for Kim Jong-un, his successor, to adhere to. But Kim Jong-il also urged that Kim Jong-nam be left alone and not targeted or harassed by the regime. And the will was obtained by some North Korean defectors in 2012. Kim Jong-nam's most prominent child is Kim Han-sol, who grew up in Macau, attending international schools and having a wide range of friends. He's attended college in Bosnia, and He speaks American English. Kim Jong-nam has been keeping a low profile except for a few notable occasions on which he spoke to Japanese media and appeared to question the legitimacy of North Korea's system of hereditary succession. I don't know if that was the sour grapes coming out or what, but he wasn't happy. Now, there have been 2 women detained in the Kim Jong-nam incident, and it is unclear. Actually, there's 1 woman detained and they're searching for another. They've got security camera footage of both of them. They have 1 detained and they're looking for the other one. And I'm looking for something myself on my desk and missing show prep. Crash into the mic. Gotcha! I know you guys listen to hear the oopses. That's the only reason you guys listen, and I love you anyway. But, I'm sorry, there's a lot suspicious about this. 2 women poisoned Kim Jong-nam. Now, this wasn't the first time that an attempt on his life was made. This one just made major news because this one succeeded. And the others did not. So, the previous attempt was in 2012. And he also wrote a letter to his half-brother saying, "Leave me alone." Alright, folks. I'd love to visit with you a little longer. I got more show prep to keep going. I almost always do. But on that note, I will keep looking for the updates and try and bring you some more cool stuff. Maybe I'll even play another Ashton Kutcher clip tomorrow, if I'm on the air tomorrow. And I'm saying if on that one because I may not make the show tomorrow. I may have someone sitting in for me. Long story, we're not going into it. Just respect my wishes. On that note,